Good morning, everybody. So this is a reenactment of our normal Tuesday morning senior staff meeting. We do this every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. It's the night we have council meetings every other week, so it's timely. I'm going to let everybody go around the table and introduce themselves so you know who you're dealing with. My name is John McCormick. I'm the mayor of this great town.
I'm Carolyn Froelich. I wear a few hats. I'm the chief of staff. I'm the director of redevelopment, and I'm director of the division of sustainability.
John Haggerty, communications director.
Good morning, my name is Casey Wagner, I'm the deputy business administrator.
Morning, George Brewer, I'm the Public Works Director.
Morning, Monica Fitzgerald, the library.
Joseph Niski, I'm the police director, and a graduate of St. Thomas Aquinas High School.
That's why they're missing.
Yeah, we don't have you here. I'm a graduate of St. Thomas too, and somebody's the mayor, and she's from St. Thomas, and she's not even here.
No.
Michelle Morgan, Director of Senior Services.
Brian Molnar, Director of Recreation.
Mike Kupchak, Deputy Chief Financial Officer.
John Mitch, Township Clerk. David Kolodziejski, Health Director.
Marga Darden, Director of Planning and Development.
Vito Samaluka, I'm the business administrator and a graduate of Colonia High School, not to be outdone by the director at the end. So welcome, Colonia.
So this is a very experienced team. I'll give you a quick history. Up 10 years as the CFO, back in the 90s, 18 years as the mayor. Carol has 11 years on the council since 1996. And she became the chief of staff when I became the mayor in 2006. So she's been here 29 years, I think, or 33 years actually. John Haggerty started when I started also, so he's got 18 years here, and before that he had probably that many years with the state of New Jersey, which is where we met. When Carol and I worked in the state, we met John. We were in Treasury. He was in the Attorney General's office, or was it AG's office as the press guy. So we came here, needed a press guy to a guy we knew. Casey Wagner's one of the rookies at the table. He's only here 10 years.
That's the July.
That's 10 years in July. Weird story, I met Casey when his father said, look, my kid just got out of college, not sure what he wants to do. Will you talk to him? I sat down in the conference room with Casey, and half an hour later I hired him. I had no intention of hiring him. I had no idea what we were going to do with him once we hired him, but I said, this guy is somebody I want to get on our team. So we put him to work, and ultimately he worked his way to be the assistant business administrator. George Brew has 40 some odd years here as he's now the public works director. He started as a mechanic.
Started as a mechanic, Mayor.
Started as a mechanic, and now he runs a 200 plus, almost 200 and what, George? How many people?
365 of all of this.
Oh, counting all the custodians, right.
200 public works and
Right.
165 schools.
And he started as a mechanic. Mike Gallen's missing, he's our town engineer. Monica is a reasonably a newcomer. She runs our library system. How long, Mon?
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
Tell you another quick story. The library doesn't have to clear anything with the town, but they were hiring a director and they wanted me to meet the director. So I'm in my office and Monica's waiting in the room outside, and I'm telling you, when you say you had me at hello, I walked out, I shook her hand, we said hello, quick chit chat before we went in my office. I knew right then and there, I'm telling you, I knew right then and there she was going to be the library director. I was going to be fine with it. Joe Niski is somebody I've known since literally I was probably 12 when he was 10 or 9. We grew up a couple doors away. He's got close to 40 years.
I'm in my 40th year.
In his 40th year. Bob Hupner, who just retired, would have been in his 44th year. Joe took over it. Not many places in the state can a 44-year veteran retire and get replaced with a 40-year veteran. But that's what happens at Woodbridge. Michelle's here 20 some odd years,
Yes.
running the senior services. Brian Molnar's here 40 some odd years. He was in public works and working with George and with Vito many years ago, and now he runs recreation. Klepp is really the rookie. He's only here, what, 10? 13 years. 13 years. Klepp is the assistant CFO. I had the job as CFO, and I always kid Klepp that he's mini-me because he thinks like me, he acts like me, he talks like me, he's an accountant. Love the guy. John Mitch is also here 40 years. He started on the town council in 1989. and worked as a councilman for a while, and then became the deputy clerk, and then became the clerk. David is really the rookie. He's only here 2 years? 2.5 years. Our former health director was here 40-plus years. And we didn't have anybody in town that could replace him because you needed a certain license. So we stole Dave from the county of Middlesex. Martalewski's here close to 40 years, 38, give or take. Started as a planner, and now she runs the planning department. Vito Samaluka started as a mechanic, also right around the time George did. He's here more than 40 years. Now he's the entire business administrator for the township. So I always talk about this. I love mentioning this when we get to the point of Youth in Government Day, because it shows, first of all, that government's a great career path, but also shows that there's value in picking leaders who have worked in the department and done the job that they're now in charge of. So most everybody here has been the entry level. They've been at the bottom, and now they're at the top. And when you've been at the bottom and started at the bottom, you know the job, you know what's involved, and when you're at the top, you're a better leader. And everybody loves George Brew being the leader because he was one of them. Everybody loves Vito being the leader and Joe Niski being the leader. He started as a rookie cop. Brian Marta started at the bottom and worked their way up, and that's something that people respect. So I think we're a great example of that. I don't think you find this in many towns in the state of New Jersey. But you don't find towns anywhere like us. That's just one of the reasons. So with that, I'll turn it over to Vito. He'll direct the staff meeting as we normally do. You have agendas before you. The council will keep, this is like a cheat sheet. All the issues they work on, they keep on their agenda, and every meeting they go through it. They might bring it up, they might not bring it up. They remind us what they're working on. We work with them on all the details, and then we talk about it Tuesday morning to prepare for what they might ask on Tuesday night. So with that.
So if I could, Mayor, you talked about everyone else but yourself. So the mayor has been mayor for 18 years, which is an absolute record. Longest running mayor ever in Woodbridge Township history, which is the oldest chartered township within the state. He's a CPA. He's also been the state treasurer, and he was our CFO here. So he's spent many years in government, and this is the longest running term for any mayor. So thank you, Mayor McCormick. All right, we'll move on. So we do the council agendas. You have them in front of you. Each one of you represent a council member or the township clerk. If you would just follow along if you have any questions during this as we go through, and we read them all, and we go over them so that we know that each department may touch one of these agenda items, and they have the responsibility to get back to the council person. So we'll start with Council President Spiller. So the second one down is LeGrand Park. George, you got that? I sent you the email the other day. They want you to touch up LeGrand Park.
Yes.
In some of those areas, if you would.
And that library's pretty cool, that little box. They did a couple wanted to put a box up in LeGrand Park in memory of somebody, I don't remember who, but they did, and it's really nice.
Correct. In the library.
Yeah.
In the park. It's in the park. It's a little free library, and it's a little schoolhouse, like the original one was made for the founder of the month. So it's kind of the Mother's Day.
Oh, right.
Any of you from Avenel? Anybody go to school 4 and 5? You did, okay. So on Corey's agenda, number 13 is the new school 4 and 5. Have you been by it at all to see what's going on?
Yes, I live in
Is it
there.
cool?
Yes.
It's
it
going to
looks
be
great.
great. That school 4, I guess, is the oldest building in the town right now for schools. It used to be Ross Street, and then Ross Street was replaced, and then school 4 is being replaced, and it's going to be a brand new school, which is terrific.
Anything else on Council President Spiller? Council Vice President McAuliffe?
You got your memo on number 8.
She did. So we sent that along, and I will follow up with a phone call to her, Mayor. And on number 7, I don't know if you'll see Main Street and Route 9. If you guys are familiar with that area, that whole section was redone, widened, new traffic lights, much more safer, much more brighter. That's part of her agenda also.
Number 9, C. Warren is part of our ward, and there's going to be a brand-new dog park built right behind where the current one is now. The plan is to build a new one and then take out the old one and expand the parking lot, and then we'll have everything basically brand new. And the parking lot can also service the marina and the restaurant that's there, so the tiki bar that's there.
Anything else on Council Vice President? Councilman Anderson?
Mayor, do you want to mention number 10, talk about the touring around program that we just completed?
Sure. As soon as George...
I'll take ice cream, George.
Sounds like the good humor man. Come on.
That's to remind me it's today's Youth in Government Day.
So number 10 is, it's a program called Tooling Around the Town. It started way back in 1999 when it was called Christmas in April. Carol was on the council, Brenda Velasquez was on the council, I was the CFO. We kind of worked with the Housing Authority and copied a program that the director of the Housing Authority had up in Patterson, where you get volunteers to donate labor, specialized labor, funds, and you go out and you find homes of people that need fixing up. Usually it's a widow, usually someone who can't afford to do the work, can't do the work themselves. So we match a team with the house, and for example, Hess would always have a team, and Shell Oil would always have a team, and Woodbridge Center would have a team. And they'd go out to the houses and they'd do landscaping, they'd do cleanup, they could do light electric, light plumbing, light carpentry, a lot of painting. And then a couple of weeks ago, we had this year's program. There were 23 houses we did. It was just unbelievable. And the people, the women, usually elderly women, sometimes elderly couples, are just so unbelievably appreciative that you gave their house a revitalization. They can now be proud of it instead of it being an eyesore because it wasn't painted and there was stuff just not looking good. Landscaping was bad, and it was unbelievable. And Patrick McSherry runs that for us, and it's just an amazingly rewarding project that we do that we're just so proud of.
Brian, you want to touch on number 12 for Councilman Anderson? Just explain what that means.
Yeah, so league consolidation. Back in the day, we would have different sports leagues, all 501c3s, independent leagues. We had Woodbridge Little League, we had Merrill Park baseball, we had Colonia youth baseball, little fellas. And what the mayor did, his vision was he wanted to combine where recreation would run the youth sports. He wanted all the kids to have a chance to play, an opportunity. You know, a lot of children weren't participating because if they never played baseball before, they were a little intimidated coming into play. So what we did, we consolidated all the youth sports under my department, Bobby Tominski. He's our youth sports coordinator. So now it's the Woodbridge Recreation runs the baseball league. Woodbridge Recreation runs the basketball league, soccer league. So we do a lot of clinics where there's a lot of instructional. So the kids learn the sports before they really have to get thrown into play. So that's the way the old days were. You went in there, you signed up to play baseball. Next thing you know, you're out back in the game. This is more instructional now. They still play their games. But what we did, we were able to consolidate all these different organizations into, you know, just the recreation department running it. Football, there's still 2 programs. We still have to talk about that. It could be 1. There's some issues going on with the Saints, the Golden Saints. But that's what we did in town. We consolidated all the sports where they run out of the rec department.
What was happening was the good kids got to play and the bad kids didn't. So it would be a league with 6 games, and let's get that over with, and let's go do travel teams, and let's go do all-star teams. And the parents of the best kids would be the coaches, and they would pick the teams, and they would play from May to September or October. They'd play baseball and softball. And the kids who weren't all-star caliber, like me when I was 8 years old, I couldn't catch or throw or do anything. Some people would argue I still can't. But they ignored those kids. And now every kid has a chance to play Every kid gets uniforms and hats. Every kid gets to play under the lights. Every kid gets to play on the turf fields. Every kid gets 15 games instead of 6, and they're part of a team, and it's working so much better. And people were afraid, well, I'm from Fords, I don't want to go to Colonia, and I'm from Port Reading, I don't want to drive to Island. But we're one big town, it's worked out great, and the parents love it because their kids are playing baseball, softball, basketball, soccer, you name it. They're playing boys, girls, you name it. So it's working so much better, and it's all because of our desire to make sure every kid has an opportunity to play sports. And I think it's worked out great. Any of you been in the leagues growing up? Not me? All right.
I played recreational basketball,
Okay.
but I didn't play football. But I
You
feel
any
bad.
good?
I would say yeah, I think I'm pretty good.
Self-confidence.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can't say that when I was a kid your age. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Anything else on Councilman Anderson?
Yeah, just one thing, we had a meeting about the Juneteenth event. Bobby Higgins from Parks was there, Brian Pachowski, and Eileen, so he's all set for his event.
That should be on his agenda, shouldn't it?
Nah, it's not, unless it's under number 14.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Brian. All right, second ward, Councilman Ballard.
I have an update on number 4, the Woodbridge Waterfront Park in Casey. This is across the street from the waterfront park, and it is the Pine Barren Pond, which Weston, which is the company that owned the property, they took many years to clean it up. It was very contaminated. They cleaned up the pond, and we have an Eagle Scout whose project is to create a trail from where we have parking to the pond. And we are hoping that we will actually, it's got fish in it, we'll have fishing there this summer. It is called the Pine Barren Pond because even though we're not in the Pine Barren area, the plant life there is common to the Pine Barrens. We might even be the most northern part of it. So we'll keep you posted on when it's ready to go.
We should explain it when we started, but there's 9 council people. 5 of them represent a ward, and 4 represent the whole town. So there's 5 wards. Sharon McAuliffe in the first ward is Woodbridge proper and Seawarren. Howie Barrow, we just heard from, second ward is Fords, Hopewell, and Caseby. Corey Spiller, who's the president now, who went first, is Port Reading, third ward, Port Reading and Avenel. Viru Patel, we didn't get to yet. He's the 4th ward of Island and Menlo Park Terrace. And Debbie Meehan is the 5th ward of Colonia. They just represent their ward. They run every 4 years. They're running this year. So they'll run at 25, 29, 33, etc. The other group of 4 at large, like I say, represent the whole council, whole township. That's Kyle Anderson, Lisbeth De Jesus, Brian Small, and right now there's actually an opening because Greg Ficara, it's very rare that a council person leaves in the middle of a term, but Greg Ficara moved to Jackson with his wife to be closer to their daughter and grandkids. So he's right now off the council. Tomorrow night, the council, tonight, what am I saying? Today's Tuesday. Tonight, the council will replace Greg with somebody else, and that'll be the 4th at large. And they run with me also every 4 years, but opposite the ward. So if the ward is 25, we run at 27, the ward at 29, us at 31, ward at 33, they run opposite us. We all run in odd numbered years, which is good because we don't run, nobody runs at the same time as Washington. So a lot of times when you're running, you're at the mercy of who's at the top of your ticket. Although we could talk forever on this, there's no longer that kind of organized lines, but I don't want to run when somebody says, oh, I don't like the president, I don't like my senator, I don't like my congressman, and therefore I'm not going to vote for anybody in the same party as them. So I'm glad we don't run with others. We do run with the governor, and we run with the state legislators, but not Washington. Washington's so messed up right now. Nobody wants to run with anybody from Washington. All right.
Still under Councilman Bauer, number 5, Hometown Hero banners. Is the Parks Department plugged in after the event this
Yeah.
week to
So
get the banners up?
So the event for that is Wednesday night. It's at Woodbridge High School. We moved it inside due to inclement weather. And then the Hometown Hero banners will start going up Thursday morning. And we'll work on that right through as soon, the goal is to have everyone up before Memorial Day. But we will have them up before Memorial Day.
So they're not going up in the courtyard like they normally do? No reason to?
No.
Good.
All right. Anything else on Councilman Bauer?
Anybody go to School 14? Forts? No? Okay. That's going to be, that is a very old building. It's the prior school administration decided not to try to renovate it and make it work, so they moved the kids to School 25. Anybody go to 25? In Forts? No? Okay. You did, right, Case?
No, it's
Or you were,
bus the number 9.
right,
which
okay,
is
that's right.
Good segue in for you.
So the School 14 is going to be demolished and a very advanced handicapped accessible playground is going to go in School 14, which is pretty cool.
All right. Councilman Small? Mayor, would you like to talk about number 14?
Oh, sure. So we have a building we own in Port Reading that we actually got for free from Hess when they were dissolving everything, and they sold their stations to one company, their building to another company, their terminal to another, their tanks to another, and they had this building left over, so we asked them if they would donate it to the town, and they did. We turned it into Cypress Recreation Center for cheerleaders and wrestlers who often didn't get gym space when it was allocated. It was always other groups like basketball got it first. So anyway, now they had their own home. We turned the corner of it into a cafe, and it's run by the special needs students in the RISE program. You probably go to school right now with kids who are going to graduate and go into the RISE program. They're special needs, but they're advanced enough that they can work. They can be hosts, they can be greeters, they can be servers, they can work the register with training. They can be custodians, cooks in some cases. It's a wonderful place, and it's pretty much packed every day. People love going. They get a great meal at a very good price, but they also interact with, these are kids you probably in school with. I mean, it's great that they have an opportunity to get a job, and many of them move on to other places. One of our cooks works in Pizza Hut. Some of our servers work in the community center in the cafe. So it's really a training ground, but you should see how happy they are that they're working and getting a paycheck. It's just unbelievable.
Thank you, Mayor. Anything else on Councilman Small? All right. Councilwoman De Jesus? Joe, you want to talk about number 5?
So police community relations. In the police department, we have a community policing department unit that's staffed with 2 detectives, Detective Mike Harris and Detective Nate Santoni. Have you guys come across them at all in your school or at events? Nobody? That's good. Well, they stay very busy, out in the community, and Councilwoman De Jesus is our contact for the council. So prior to every meeting, the community policing unit gives her a schedule of events that we're going to participate in between one council meeting and another. For example, did you know last week was National Police Week? Anybody?
She did. She's shaking her head, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so for National Police Week, we paint the line out front blue on Main Street. We put up our memorial flag, and we put bunting over the entrance to police headquarters. So, and that's in memory of 2 Woodbridge police officers that were killed in the line of duty here at Woodbridge, Officer Lewis and Officer Williams. We also had a handful of officers participating in the Unity Tour. They rode their bicycles from New Jersey to the Law Enforcement Memorial in Washington, D.C. So that's just some of the things that we do, and we reported to Councilwoman De Jesus.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that. Carol, do you want to talk about number 15?
Sure. community backpacks. So Councilwoman De Jesus is, one of her passions is making sure that the less privileged people, children in the schools, get what they need. And it's surprising how many people can't afford the basic school supplies, a backpack, the notebooks, the crayons, the pencils, all of that stuff. So she runs an enormous backpack drive. And we go to corporations, volunteers, put together these backpacks. We have one of the churches in town. How many does the Evangelical Church do?
Oh, it must be
About 300 alone.
100, yeah.
And it's just an amazing project. We have an event in Casey, an event in Hopelawn to give out the backpacks. Wall Street School also participates. And it's just so helpful because the children who go to school, like everybody else, with a great backpack for all the supplies.
Thank you, Carol. Anything else on Councilwoman De Jesus? Fifth Ward Councilwoman Meehan.
Tomorrow night, she is going to host the Support the Troop Rally, which is an annual rally where we recognize all the current active duty members of the military. And we also honor some of our veterans. So tomorrow night at 6, we're moving it from outside, inside to the Woodbridge High School, and we'll be doing that event tomorrow night.
And as you can see on your agenda, if you're following along, number 4, Councilwoman Meehan has all of these events that she either hosts or co-hosts with the help of the township. Sometimes she does it with her volunteers, but she does a lot of these events. So she's extremely active in her community. Anything else on Councilwoman Meehan? Fourth Ward Councilman Patel.
Yeah, so if you're familiar with the Oak Tree Road Business District, it's amazingly popular, it's amazingly successful. But it, like anything else, can get better. There's a lot of districts around the state now. Edison has one, Piscataway, the Brunswicks, Jersey City. So we want to keep ours competitive. And one of the ways we're doing that now is looking at a plan to, first of all, make it safer. They're doing we're doing with the county a road safety audit. That's very, if you know it, it's bustling. And cars go everywhere, and people walk everywhere, and you look at it and say, my gosh, well, it doesn't look the safest in the world, although there haven't been any problems. But we need to do a road safety audit and find a way to keep the people in the cars away from each other, the pedestrians and the drivers away from each other. We've added a bunch of parking, but now we have to look at where do we have to do crosswalks, where do we have to do lights, where do we have to paint curves, where do we have to make it safer for pedestrians, because if you don't have pedestrians, you're going to fail. So we're working with Councilman Patel on that, and we're looking at replacing all of the curbs and sidewalks. If you look at it, it's very disjointed. It's not like a nice even line of stores. Some stores go back, some come up. It's very haphazard, but you're not going to change the buildings, but we can fix the sidewalks and the curbs to make it uniform, make it the same color. We're looking for, what colors do we use that reflect the ethnic culture of India? What designs do we use? So we want to make that the spot in town, and not only in town, not only in the county, but literally in the state. And working with the county, we're splitting the cost, we're looking for grants to cover it. But I would say that in 2 years, downtown Island will look completely different than it looks right now. There's the 4 biggest jewelry stores in India, right? There's Kanishk, there's Joyaluka, right? There's Malabar, and there's Kalman, if I got them right. Yeah, dude, she's shaking her head right. We're the only place in the country where the 4 biggest jewelry stores in India are located. They're all right, you can stand in the middle and see all 4 of them. Joyaluka's not here yet. They're moving to Clove 12 on Marconi and LaGuardia. But we are the only place that's going to have those 4 stores. That's amazing. It tells you how big and how vibrant the district is when we have the 4 top jewelry stores in the whole country of India. So we're expanding on that, and we're going to make it unbelievably better with the help of Councilman Patel.
It looks like you share in the pride that we have in the Oak Tree Road district.
Yeah.
I mean,
From your faces.
yeah.
Mayor, just one more comment on that. With our parking lot improvements, we're also adding some DC fast chargers for electric vehicles. People travel from many states, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Virginia, and a lot of them people drive electric vehicles. We're going to put these DC fast chargers in. So when they're driving, it'll alert them that there's a fast charger there. And when they're shopping, they're going to be able to charge their car. And a lot of higher end cars, the Volvo, Jaguar, we're going to be able to charge them all at these charging stations. So.
And if you know you can get a charge nearby, you're more likely to come shop.
Spend more time. Thank you, everyone. Anything else on Councilman Patel? All right, so next on your agenda is the open spot that the mayor was speaking about earlier. That'll be filled tonight, hopefully. A few of the things on former Councilman Farcar's agenda were fireworks, which is coming up. We call them the 4th of July fireworks. We usually have them the day before or 2 days before. This year, Brian, you want to expand?
Yeah, so July 3rd will be our fireworks celebration. We do it out at Alvin Williams Park. The gates open up at 4 p.m. People could come in. We usually have some music to kick the night off. We have a local band play from like 5 o'clock to 7. And then we have our ceremony where the mayor gets up on stage. We do proclamations, or we honor people from the past year, anything significant that happened. We like to have that in celebration. And then we have a feature band, AM Gold. They come on at around 8 p.m. And then at 9:25 at sunset, the fireworks kick off. It's around a 20-minute display, probably one of the better ones in the state of New Jersey. We have a company, Pyrotechno, that we've been working with for years, and we're probably one of the best fireworks displays in the state of New Jersey.
I think the mayor declared they are the best.
What do you mean, problem? So if you know Albert Gisani from Royal Albert's Palace, he is the main guy for providing the funding for the fireworks. And he comes out every year and he stands on stage like a proud pop, and talks about it. So he's the reason why we have these. He's very benevolent. He gives to police, fire, first aid, schools, PTO, scouts, you name it. And if he doesn't give directly, he makes it all available for all the different things. I'm sure a lot of you have been there. Albert Gisani is just a great corporate citizen of Woodbridge.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll ask David Kolodziejski to talk about number 12, the mobile health unit.
Yes, we have a mobile health unit. We have our own division, community health, that operates it. We give free blood pressure, glucose, and cholesterol screenings for anybody that happens to stop by. We have several stops, several senior centers mostly, but several stops throughout town, and we're at several events, so including backpack events. So if anybody's interested, we stop by and spread the word.
Yeah, you all got to probably start worrying about your blood pressure at 17 years old. But it's actually led to saving of lives. There have been people who have gone on there who have not been to a doctor in a while and have found out they have high blood pressure, have found out they have high cholesterol, all from a simple test sitting in a chair. And they've gone to regular medical facilities to check them out. And in several cases, we've been told that stop potentially could have saved somebody's life because they had something they didn't know about that could have been fatal, but they dealt with it because they went on that bus. And that was a donation. One of Carroll's developers in the redevelopment field said at one point, we would like to make a donation of something substantial. And by substantial, we mean $250,000. What?
Substantial.
Substantial, $250,000 roughly. And she came up with the idea of let's do this health unit. We've always wanted one. We've had Hackensack come on occasion with the unit. We've had Robert Wood come on occasion with the unit, once every few months. but now with the opportunity to get our own, and we hired a nurse to come and run it, and we have part-time nurses, and it really is a great asset for the people in Woodbridge Township.
And I'll touch it briefly, and I'll have the mayor fill in the details on number 15, Senior Olympics. So for the last 16 years?
2007, which was the first one. So, yeah, 18 years.
18 years. So for the last 18 years, Woodbridge has been home for the New Jersey Senior Olympics. So it happens every second weekend in September at the WCC and various locations. Brian, you have any more details you want to fill in?
Yeah, so we do the WCC. We have a lot of events there. The 3 high schools, they participate with their fields. I know we do tennis at JFK. We do track and field at Woodbridge High School. Colonia, I think we have is for tennis too, and for backup on events. Yeah, it's pickleball. You know, we used to partner with the county, but now the town, the mayor has built, I think it's 22 new pickleball courts in Woodbridge. In the old Fords Park football field and Pochek Park, which is located behind the Woodbridge ShopRite. So we have 2 fantastic pickleball locations. Pickleball is probably the biggest sport in the Senior Olympics. Very popular, but our whole town is showcased that day. We have athletes from all over, just not the state of New Jersey. You know, Delaware, Pennsylvania, they could participate in our Senior Olympics too. All different events, like I said, track and field, tennis, golf, archery, you know, bowling. So it's,
Golf.
Yeah, golf.
Horseshoes.
Horseshoes, darts, mini golf at the world famous Skyline Mini Golf located behind the Woodbridge Community
Shameless
Center.
plug.
Save some
Shame-
fireworks.
Shameless.
Yeah, we're open for business. Feel free to stop by and play around at mini golf. But yeah, no, it's a great place. It's a Woodbridge is showcased, you know, throughout the state of New Jersey, and you know, so it's a great event.
And every other year is a national qualifier.
Yes, yep.
Have any of you ever volunteered for the Senior Olympics?
Yeah.
You did. What'd you do? What sport?
Mini golf.
Mini golf.
Excellent.
At the world famous Skyline Mini Golf.
Were you there when I played?
No, I don't think so.
Are you honest? That's funny. That's probably why I didn't have you as my caddy, because you're too honest.
Have all of the students sign up with Megan Cushman behind you.
Yeah, if you want to volunteer,
Yeah.
Got volunteer
Megan
hours.
behind us is, coordinates all the volunteers. She's John Hagley's deputy communications director. That's another great story. Let me tell you about Megan's story. So, 2016, Meg?
What's that?
The little email you sent me, 2016? She's a student at Rutgers, lives in Port Reading, sends me an email and says, you know, I'd like to, this is my career, I'm graduating here, I'm a junior, whatever she said, and I'm a communications major, and I would love to have an internship with the Township of Woodbridge. And one of the best emails I've ever gotten, it was so well written, from somebody who's a junior or senior in high school, and I instantly said, okay, this is somebody that can clearly write, and one of the things she does most in town is write. So we brought her in for an interview, and John Haggerty talked to her and was kind of in the market for somebody to work part-time. So Megan took the job and started working, and the next thing you know, she's doing such a great job, she becomes full-time, and the next thing you know, she's doing such a great job, she's now the deputy communications director, and now she had an intern, Kelly Walsh, who's back there too, and Kelly Walsh turned into a part-timer, and then Kelly Walsh turned into a full-timer who handles our social media and does all kinds of great things for the town. So you never know. Like Casey's story, like Megan's story, you never. Kelly worked down in the club at Woodbridge behind the front desk. One minute she's folding towels, and now she's posting pictures on the mayor's Facebook page. You know, and then helping to do our newsletters and all the things like that. So you never know what's gonna happen to your career. You never know what avenue might open up for you. You know, Casey, just his father says, talk to the mayor, see what he says. Megan says, I want to be an intern. You know, you never know what's going to happen. So that's why you be as dedicated as you can be as community service oriented as you can be as responsible as you can be, as ethical as you can be, and doors will open.
I just want to add that the studies are showing now that public service is just not a career choice that young people like you are making. And the pitch that the mayor is making here is to say to you, it certainly is a great career choice. There's a future in it. You can work your way up very easily if you're good and you're competent, like he says. It's just, if you were to ask everybody, what everybody at this table has in common, is we are all passionate about what we do, and we also have a great time doing it. It's a good job, and it's a fun job, and ultimately you're going to be working with wonderful people. So please consider being in public service.
Thank you, everyone. So next on the agenda is Mr. Mitch. Mr. Mitch is our township clerk. He's a liaison to the town council, and he also compiles and puts together our meeting every other week. Mr. Mitch, anything on your agenda?
Thank you. Just a quick snapshot, if you're following along on the agenda page, especially if you in front of today. So we have 93 liquor licenses in Woodbridge Township. It does consume a lot of the time in my office. So what you'll see on my agenda, the first items listed are transfers, which mean we are currently working with the police department. We are vetting and or reviewing if people want to buy a liquor license. We have an obligation by state law to review them to make sure they have no criminal activity in their background, make sure they're financially sound, that they can own and operate a business in town. So these 4 items that are listed reflect some ongoing activity right now with my office and the police. Similarly, I work with them on number 2, which is disciplinary action. In fact, without disclosing who, we're looking to take our first step of progressive discipline against one of the license holders. We take issues in town very serious when it comes from an establishment that violates noise ordinances or being good community neighbors with the liquor license. So we work closely with the administration and the police department on that. Jumping down to elections, June the 10th is primary day. I mentioned for a number of reasons, if you're registered to vote, you can also vote between June 3rd and June 8th at the Acacia Center, 95 Orbiting Avenue, Woodbridge. If you're not registered to vote and you're 18, feel free to stop by my office before you leave today. I'll show you where that is. You can register to vote while you're here. Or if you're 17 and will be 18 by November, you can also register to vote as well. That's a fairly new. That's all I have.
Thanks,
Is he
Mitch.
a new owner, or is he just a transfer on your list? Is he just a different, same company, different name? Or is somebody taking
No,
over?
C actually is, that's going to be the new cricket simulator bar we're going to get on Lockett Roads and Fords.
Oh, they're moving it from Fridays?
Correct. Yes. So actually, it's great that you questioned that particular one. So like we have the simulator golf den at the club at Woodbridge, there's a new bar coming into Ford's, and it's going to have a simulator cricket. So my understanding is you'll be able to pick cricket courses from anywhere in the world, kind of similar to like the golf den. So yeah, they purchased the liquor license for Fridays.
So that's just going to be probably torn down then,
What from?
Fridays. I mean, unless they get another license, because they're selling. Interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Mitch. So next what we do in our meeting is we go around to each one of the directors and they talk about what's on their respective agendas for their departments and how they interact with some of the other departments within the township. I start with Chief of Staff Carolyn Early. Carolyn?
Thank you. So as I said, I wear a few hats. One of them as Chief of Staff is I have regular meetings with each council person, one-on-one, so that they have this, communication is so key. And, you know, they talk to the BA, they talk to the mayor, but this is an opportunity for them to say, this is what I care about, this is a problem I have, and for me to help solve it. I also work on some of the mayor's pet projects. For instance, one of them is we have senior housing. It's very, very old, and it was in need of replacing. So we did the downtown senior housing, and they have moved to brand new, really nice housing in Port Reading, and that is called Red Oak. we just completed a project in Fords, and that new housing is called Green Oak. And we're working to do the same thing in Island, to find a new, better home for the seniors there. Another hat that I wear is redevelopment. I work hand in hand with the planner, Marta Lesky, on that. Our three biggest projects, I'm sure you've all driven past Sprouts, coming soon. That is the Cloverleaf Shopping Center, and that is just going to be a phenomenal addition. The other one is in Metro Park. They're building, it's going to be that big building that you see. It's going to be the Hackensack Meridian Health Center, their corporate headquarters. And downstairs, there will be all kinds of health services for the people. There'll be a residential piece and a retail piece. It's the only health center of that kind that is right on a train station. So it's really unique. And our other big project, which is moving very slowly, goes forward, goes backward, but it's going to move, is remaking the mall and making it a more, just a better place to go to. And so those are the projects. And then the other thing that I do is the director of the Division of Sustainability. We just completed a new sustainable plan working with Stevens University, and that is our blueprint for doing all the sustainable stuff. We just planted a couple of hundred trees throughout Fords at Woodbridge. We did a competition to encourage our restaurants and businesses to go green, and we had a green gala to give out awards. And somebody I saw had infrastructure on here. We do build rain gardens throughout the town, and we're always looking for people to adopt the rain gardens. Our green team is always looking for volunteers. You can email me, and if you want to do anything green, we totally welcome.
So Woodbridge Center, Carol mentioned, is probably the most important thing for the future of the town that we're working on right now. We're all responsible for Woodbridge Center not being great because we all order from Amazon and we all get stuff delivered. And things where you used to go to Penny's and Macy's and Sears, now you get delivered by FedEx or Amazon Prime at your front door and left on your porch. So they're struggling. Sears closed many years ago. Gordon Taylor closed, but that has come back because the building was sold to a lab, and the lab's going to employ 250 people at fairly high salaries, so it's going to be a little shot in the arm to the mall because those people will be walking around at lunch and maybe hopefully shopping. Macy's is always on the fence. There's Macy's stores always closed all over the country, especially in the state, and we always seem to just miss closing, but its future is tentative. Boscov's is very successful. Penny's is very successful, and Dick's Sporting Goods is successful. So there's 6 anchors, 3 are really good, 1's completely gone. Sears, who knows what it's going to become. It's a gigantic building, very expensive to retrofit and use. The best plan for that might be to knock it down and start over. And then there's Macy's. So company bought it, an investment firm bought the loan. So Woodbridge Center owed $220 million in a mortgage. Not its own fault because they borrowed against Woodbridge Center to fix Staten Island. Had they not done that, Woodbridge Center would be a lot better, but it's like if you have 2 houses and one needs work, but you don't borrow on that, you borrow against this one. That's what the company did. They borrowed against Woodbridge to fix Staten Island, so Woodbridge was burdened with this debt. They couldn't handle it anymore. They went bankrupt, and a company from Wall Street came in and bought the loan for $80 million. So right away, the people who loaned money to Woodbridge Center lost $140 million. I know these are big numbers, but now the company that owns the mall, by virtue of owning the debt, almost partnered with a company to redo the mall. We found out Sunday night, we got a text, an email, I saw it Monday morning when I was home before I left for work, and called Carol, I said, you see the email, this company's out of it. They were going to partner with the investor and do something with the mall, but they dropped out. Now that investor has to look for another partner to do something with the mall, because the investor is just a bunch of Wall Street rich people who want to buy it for 80 and sell it for 180. And they're not necessarily, I hate to say it, but their focus is not on doing right by Woodbridge. Their focus is on making money. That's what they do. They're Wall Street. So we're hoping they partner now with another company that is in the development business, that's in the mall business, that knows what to do with that piece of property and can do the right thing. And it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be difficult. But the mall goes back to 1971. It's the most iconic, recognizable thing in Woodbridge Township is Woodbridge Center. It's right smack in the middle of the town. It employed, at least at the time, a whole lot of people. It's on a giant tract of land. It's very important to us, so we're working very, very hard. Every day we're spending time on Woodbridge Center to try to make sure the right thing happens there.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Carol. Hacks?
Communications is involved in putting together the biannual Woodbridge News. We're in the process of putting together the next edition at this point in time. And we're also responsible for all of the social media posts, Facebook, all of the internet things, and that's through Kelly and Megan over there. And tonight we are doing a flag raising for Emergency Management Services Week. And we're going to have a number of proclamations to some EMTs who have done life-saving work. So we're always out there looking to get the word out about everything going on in the town and how we approach it. So check out our webpage and our Facebook, and you'll find out what's going on.
Thanks, John. Casey?
How you doing? As said before, I'm a deputy business administrator, and as a good number two, I'm going to let the boss explain what we do on a day-to-day basis. But I've been coming to this for like 5 years, and I've always made 2 points. One of which I always said, you guys are heading into college, I'm relatively out of college, but I had a crippling realization this morning I probably shouldn't be saying that anymore. I'm a little bit out of school, but the other point I always like to make, and you heard the mayor talk about the amount of time everybody has around this table. And I found starting a career, any career, whether you go into government, nonprofit, private, college is great, you get a degree, you're gonna learn. Listen to the people you work with. When you come in, maybe keep your mouth shut for a little bit, hear what goes on, hear how things work. When the time's right, ask the right question and just take it all in. What you're gonna learn from the people you ultimately work with, whether they've been doing it for 5 years, 50 years, is you can't put a price on it. The people around this table, who've sat around this table in years past, I've had the privilege, I like that. I like how they handle the situation. That might not have worked, we learned that. The value in that's incredible. If I can give you any advice, I would just say, listen, take it all in. Business-wise, I guess for tonight, we obviously met with Council President this morning. High level, 3 main things we're going to meet tonight. We got the 3 financial agreements on. We have our general bond and our sewer bonds on tonight, and then we're going to have an executive session at the end. Last minute, we got our MOUs for Absentee Clerical and Absentee Sanitation. That's what we presented them to council.
They're union agreements. We reached agreements with 2 of our bigger unions on the contract to go forward, 2-3 years?
3 years.
3-year contract. Having labor peace is very important. We're only as good as the people that work for us. We're only as good as the police on the street. We're only as good as the people in the trucks and that plow and that pick up garbage and recycling and that pave the roads. We're only as good as the nurses in the health department, and we're only as good as the people that run our leagues and our community center and the club. So we treat them very, very well. We sign contracts before the existing one ends. We never have labor problems. We rarely ever have an unexpired or an expired contract that's not been renewed. Very, very rarely. So we're very proud of the fact that we're good to our employees because they're good to us.
Thanks, Casey. George?
So, I'm George Brewer, Public Works Director. My daughter actually goes to St. Thomas. She's a senior like you guys. I wish she was here today to tell me what to do today. But, so, Public Works, actually, Joe, they didn't know that last week was National Police Week. Well, one person did over there. This week is actually National Public Works Week. And I don't expect anyone to know that. But it is actually, it was declared by President Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, in 1962, and it just the importance of what we do as public works, and you have infrastructure on your agenda here. Today, most of our public works employees are at a state-required class. We work in conjunction with Rutgers, and it's for stormwater management. And the importance of it, and it's a state-mandated required course, and all of our public works employees have to engage in it. You know, that covers the street sweeping, all the stream cleaning we do, everything we do in regards to, you know, cleaner waterways. It's critical. So Mike Ellen, our engineer, a lot of that the permitting process comes under his department. So that's why Mike's not here today. But again, it's a critical infrastructure for what we do. There's a few things on our agenda, on my agenda for tonight's meeting. You have it there. And basically, there are some roadway improvements, second and third one, and the first one is a pump station improvement. So we also cover all the sanitary sewers. So that's another critical part. We have 22 pump stations. That's what this is an improvement for. And it's a very critical component to our infrastructure. You know, wastewater is one of our most critical infrastructures. During Hurricane Sandy, when most towns lost power and most of their wastewater treatment pumping stations went down, we didn't have one station go down. So we had no sanitary issues throughout the entire township during that period of, you know, there were some areas weeks without power. And I realized at that point, I was not the director, how important wastewater and pumping stations are to infrastructure. So it was the most important thing we probably did, was to make sure all those pump stations are running. So, and don't hesitate if you ever want to go into public service. Public Works is a great place to work. We have a lot of men and women. So it is a great place to work. Thank you.
Thanks, George. Monica?
So we're very fortunate to be at this table. A lot of libraries in town are not invited to their weekly meetings. It's great way for the library to know what's happening in town, make sure the residents have all the information they need about things in town. Many of you might know we have a big summer reading program coming up this summer. The theme is Color Your World. Our world is a lot of art projects, a lot of things to do. We have run a great volunteer program for students during the summer, opportunity to get your National Honor Society. And then also, once you're in college, we have a lot of study carrels, places to study, a lot of great resources for you here in the library. So, thanks very much, and I wish you all the best in your choices.
And Monica, just as on a library system, they have so many things going on in the library that are not connected to books. So many programs. We do a call every Friday, let people know what's coming up that weekend and the following week. And I think half of that call seems like it's things at the main library or Colonia or Island or Fords. There's so many programs going on, you know, wellness programs and things for seniors and things for families and entertainment things. It's just phenomenal what the library system does here.
Thank you, Monica. Joe?
Okay, so I have the best job at the table. I get to run the police department. So how many people want to be police officers? Anybody?
How many want to be mayor?
Okay.
Well, I will tell you this, my son's a police officer in Woodbridge, and he started out in DPW, and if they had our schedule and our pay scale, he would go back to DPW. But we have 237 sworn officers, about 100 support staff. We also oversee EMS, so we handle about 1,300 first aid calls a month. And we're a liaison to our 9 fire districts. I also am the OEM coordinator, so we have a lot going on in my department. Are we doing business as well? So
why not?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
business. So on Monday, we did a event assessment meeting on the street fair. So the street fair, we had great weather on Saturday, and we had more people attend the street fair this year than we did the past 2 years. So we had 110 vendors. The only negative comment at the event assessment meeting was you really have to do something about these motorized bicycles and scooters and what have you for these events where we're closing off a roadway. So that's something we're checking into, but we're probably going to wind up prohibiting those types of vehicles within the closed area. So I'm sure you've all seen them on the road and on the sidewalks, and there really are a handful for the police department. So I have that, and then I did share a social media post with you. So there was a big problem at Minimum Mall over the weekend. Over 300 people showed up and caused the problem. Edison had a call for mutual aid. Being the biggest police department in the county, we provided mutual aid. We wound up arresting 7 people as a result of that incident at the mall. Well, almost immediately following that incident, a social media post went up that there's going to be a similar event at Woodbridge Center this Saturday. Have you guys heard about it, right? At 1:30, but we will be prepared. We have the largest police department in the county. We've already created an operational plan, and we have an investment in a county response team. We have 3 officers assigned to a county response team, so we've already requested their help. So they'll be sending their county response team to stand by, and we've already reached out to all of our neighbors for mutual aid. So you've got Carteret, Perth Amboy, right? Sayreville, Edison, Clark, and Rowan. So we'll be very well prepared if anything happens at the mall on Saturday. So if you have any friends or any of you intended on going, I would recommend it. Unless you're going to the mall, there is a carnival there this weekend, which...
Oh, what a great combination.
Yeah, there is a carnival.
The circus.
And, yeah, we'll be, believe me when I tell you, the mall will be safe and we'll be prepared for this event, but I wanted to bring it to your...
You'll be visible, right? The people
Oh,
come
yes.
up, they'll
Yeah,
know
we
there.
already, so we already identified the person who reposted this on social media. That person is an adult. As I sit here right now, our detectives are having a chat with him. And 4 of the people that were arrested in Edison live in Woodbridge, and detectives are visiting those 4 as well. So we're well out in front of this.
Nice work. Thank you,
As
Joe.
usual.
Michelle?
So senior services, the goal of the senior services that we provide is so that we can maintain the seniors in our community for as long as possible, deter institutionalization, placement in a nursing home or assisted living. And how we accomplish that is by connecting the seniors and their caregivers with resources, whether those resources are at the township level, at the county level, state, or federal. Seniors have to battle with a fixed income, functional disabilities, and just aging. But the goal is how can we keep them here healthy and safe? And in doing so, we have a division of social workers. We provide counseling and case management. We provide support to families and caregivers. And we help them to apply for financial assistance, whether that is from food stamps to home health care, utility assistance. If they're homeowners, we help them to apply for programs to help with their property taxes. Another division that the township has is senior transportation. That division allows the seniors in our community to access our senior centers, medical appointments, the libraries, the food pantries, the mall, in order for them to remain independent, because truly in the end, that's what we want to do. We want to respect them and their independence and their dignity. So in terms of business, what we're going into now is the summer, and so we're going to help our older adults apply for the Senior Farmers Market. This is a federal program which trickles down to the state and then to the county. We have 80 vouchers to give to seniors. They're going to get not $40, but it's a voucher, it's a credit, and they're going to go to a farmer's market in order to promote a healthy diet, to get fresh fruits and vegetables. We also do seminars, and we try to do at least one seminar each month. And actually today we're having a seminar. It's part of our 5-part empowerment series. Today it's going to be storytelling. It's good for reminiscing, and it's also for them to share their life story. Next month, we have invited a presenter from the SAGE. SAGE is a national organization for LGBT and elders. They're going to do a program in our community for our LGBT elders. And then in July, we're going to have an end-of-life series. Having that conversation is always tricky, right? What are my wishes as I'm nearing death? Or how do I prepare in order for my family to be prepared for my death, and paperwork and all that. So we're going to have three seminars on that. We're going to talk about power of attorney, surrogate, living wills, so that caregivers and elders are prepared for that. And then we are working with our Office of Emergency Management, in which we are having a conference at a larger scale, and we are partnering with our EMS, OBM, fire departments, and we now have the Red Cross, so that at a more local level, when the ambulance goes to visit one of our elders, they are prepared when they walk in the home. There are certain information that our seniors and caregivers should have in order to make that emergency situation easier and smoother. And then at a grander scale, our fire department is going to offer information and resources on how for them to be safe at home. Red Cross is going to be at a larger scale. So that's what we do, and we love working for the township, and we are very passionate about the work that we do. Thank you.
There's probably no town that takes care of seniors better than Woodbridge. 6 social workers that visit people who are homebound and can't get out. 6 senior centers all over town. People can go to recreate, they can have luncheons, they can have bus trips, they can have jewelry beading and yoga, and you name it. And then we have a fleet of 12 buses that take seniors to and from all the centers, take them to doctor's appointments, take them to shopping visits. There's no town that takes care of seniors better than Woodbridge Township.
Thanks, Michelle. Brian?
So the Recreation Department, we oversee the Woodbridge Community Center, the club at Woodbridge. We have 3 youth centers now that we operate. We have the Evergreen Youth Center in Colonia, the Acacia Youth Center in Port Reading, and the Highland Grove Youth Center in Fords. We oversee the Barron Arts Center. We have swimming pools. We have 2 outdoor pools, Highland Grove and Springwood in Colonia. They're actually going to be opening up part-time this weekend. They open up full-time when school gets out on the 23rd of June, or 25th of June. We also oversee the Woodbridge Marina for boaters, also the Woodbridge Boat Launch. Then we have on our traditional side, we have our youth sports that we talked about. We have the cornerstone of our summer is our concert schedule, and we have over 100 concerts scheduled this summer. We also have children's concerts too that are and plays that are scheduled for Saturdays. We run a farmers market. We have our different festivals that we run. Our Summer Fest, which is going to be June 7th at Merrill Park. We have our fireworks, which is going to be on July 3rd. We have road races. We work in cooperation with the Mayor's Wellness team, where we do have road races. We have our pizza run. That's going to be in July. I think it's July 16th, if that's the Wednesday. And then we have our Crossroads race, which is the Sunday before Labor Day. Other than that, I'm sure I must have forgot something in there.
Thank you, Brian.
But I do have some business for today. Pull this up. So I talked about at our last meeting that we had the open house for signups at Highland Grove and Springwood. So this weekend, 52 signed up at Springwood and 19 signed up for Highland Grove. That was just for that 2-day period, which was good. I'll have the numbers for you on what we have right now.
All right.
But we're doing good with the pools. Also, the other thing too is we do run summer camps in our summer program. We actually run 3 summer camps: Merrill Park Camp, our WCC camp, and our Kids Sports Camp at the club.
Thanks, Brian. Michael?
The finance department's in charge of obviously all the financial obligations for the town. A big thing that we do that the council is involved in, we put together 2 bill lists a month. We can't release those funds and pay those bills without council approval. So every Friday before the Tuesday meeting, we send out a bill list. The council approves that bill list on their Tuesday meeting. We cut the checks on Wednesday, and we send it out to all the vendors that bill us. It's an important part of the town because if we don't pay bills, we can't function. We're also responsible for paying the debt of town, making sure that the town is financially stable. 2 things I have. We have the ordinance tonight for first reading. That's going to go. The funds will be available on June 23rd. That's when the Gestapo ends. And then, obviously, we're going into the last month of the fiscal year, so June 20th will be the last bill list, and we're going to cut everything off after that. So just pay attention to your budgets and whatever you got to get in, make sure you get it.
Thanks, Michael. Mr. Mitch?
Thank you. As the business administrator indicated earlier, as the township clerk, I serve as liaison between the governing body and the administration, and also the governing body and the public. My office in general oversees a lot of different licensing. It can be anything from a taxi cab or a limousine license. The police director mentioned a carnival. We license that as well. Well, the liquor licenses I indicated earlier. We also handle vital statistics. If you're born in Woodbridge, we don't have a birthing center, we don't have a hospital. However, if there's an intended birth at home or an unintended birth at home or in an ambulance, so you're born within Woodbridge, you have to still report your birth to us and we'll issue a birth certificate to that child. We also do marriages, so if you live in Woodbridge and at the time you decide to get married, you have to apply for a license in Woodbridge, unless you get married out of the state. And on a more somber note, though similar, if someone passes away, if you live in Woodbridge or your services are being held in Woodbridge or you're being buried in Woodbridge, we will issue not only a death certificate declaring someone deceased, we'll also issue a burial permit for you to be buried at your final resting place. On a note of business, 2 items is that I did receive a letter this morning, actually just after midnight, from the Woodbridge Democratic Organization. The mayor indicated earlier, more than one occasion, that we have a vacancy on the town council, and that vacancy will be filled tonight. At least that's what the intention is to do. So because Mr. Becerra, who recently resigned, was elected as a Democrat, the Democratic Party of Woodbridge had to submit 3 names to be considered by the current, 8 remaining council members. So they have those names. They will consider one of those names to be appointed tonight, and we'll move forward from there. The second item, this is just to remind everybody that Gary Diedemeyer will be here this evening. He's going to make his annual presentation on the significance of a poppy, the red poppy. If you're familiar with that, that's a flower that veterans groups typically sell at this time of year. They are in remembrance of soldiers, men and women who died in the line of duty serving our country. So he likes to promote poppies, the significance, the meaning of it here at a meeting. But if you see any poppy drive by veterans, whether it could be at a Home Depot or a ShopRite or maybe at a traffic light, feel free to give a nominal donation. They'll give you a poppy. You wear it, display it in your car, and it shows your support for those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. So again, he'll be here this evening.
Thank you, John. David?
Hello, everybody. The health department oversees several areas, the 6 senior centers and their activities and programs. The environmental division, which performs inspections of pools, retail food establishments, body art establishments, wells, septics, and they do public health nuisance complaints. We have a nursing division that does adult and child health immunization clinics, screenings, along in conjunction with the mobile van. We do school immunization audits, medical disease investigations. We have our animal shelter, who performs, and our animal control officers who operate out of the shelter. Back to environmental, we also do e-cigarette education and enforcements, tobacco age of sale enforcements. We send youths into the various tobacco stores to see if they make purchases, and we take them to court if they do. So we have a behavioral health program which focuses on mental health and as well as addiction services. And we did have a good mental health awareness day this Saturday at Town Hall. A good turnout for that. And let's see, we also operate Peter Barcelona, our public health investigator, a We Feed program out of our office, which connects the 11 food pantries in town with the people that need food, the needy residents of town. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Marta?
Good morning. I'm the Director of Planning and Development, as you heard before. We handle anything related to land, and all inclusively everywhere in town. So if you see any construction going on, we issue all the permits for construction. We make sure that all of those permits are approved by whichever land use board hears those applications in order to get the construction permits. And if you have a complaint about any property in town, that falls under us too, whether it be is somebody doing something at the property that is not allowed by the code, or is construction going on that's not permitted, or does the place look really run down and not being well kept. We work with that also, and we issue thousands of permits every year. We're one of the top building permit issuers in the state. And we also issue thousands of property maintenance violations, from everything to what you might consider the more graphic to some that are not very much at all. There's just a sign where it's not supposed to be. So when I say everything related to land, I mean everything related to land. That's what our department does. Then also, yes, I'm very passionate about what I do and what we do, and that is chiefly because I'm honored and privileged. As the director, I'm appointed by the mayor. That's our structure of government.
That you tell me.
Yeah, you accidentally had me here since all the 18 years you've been here. So, and what I see my chief responsibility in the job that I do, and why I'm so passionate about it, is I'm helping people every day. So all of the directors, I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, so we're working for the betterment of the town, not only today, but into the future. That's helping all of our residents, and we each do that in our own way every day. But then on top of it, I'm also responsible for collecting millions of dollars in fees and administering millions of dollars in grants that literally help all of our residents every day. For instance, we've collected money for affordable housing, for the planting of trees, for sidewalk improvements. I'll get into some of the work that we do with grants, which is just timely because of what's happening right now, but we annually get a grant from HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, through Washington. We've had that grant for long before I was here, so easily 50 years, which means that's been millions of dollars to help some of our poor poorer or more underprivileged residents for just decades. Additionally, I'm the planner, so I get to plan, which means I am required to forecast and write and plan for how the town wants to look for the next 20 to 30 years through its master plan, but then also through all of our redevelopment studies that Carol referenced and our redevelopment plans. And we have over 100 designated redevelopment areas and more than 93 adopted redevelopment plans and a bunch of others that were just drafts that we never adopted. So during this time, I've absolutely done more than 100 redevelopment plans. That is more thinking and adoption and processing of all those ideas than literally any other town in the state. And so just in case, what I always say, I play a lawyer on TV because what I do is also testify related to those studies and those plans, appear in front of the boards, go to court if necessary. So I'm thinking and working, writing, researching all the time. That's another reason that I find this job so interesting. So related to business tonight, last week I submitted the cart that we had to submit regarding the estate plan, which is just a broad-based policy document that we're in the process of adoption of a new state plan that will guide state development and redevelopment for the next 30 years easily. But I mean, it was just very broad. I had to list the 100 redevelopment areas, and what we've done and when our plans were last adopted and all that, but it's just a wide policy statement. So that was submitted last week. Today in the newspaper, our substantial amendment for the HUD grant is appearing. That hearing will be June 3rd, and we were notified last week about our award for another year, just around $650,000. And Joy Lucas, that you referenced before, submitted for a building permit.
Good.
So they're moving forward. And it was announced last week that Dick's Sporting Goods nationally is buying Foot Locker for more than $2 billion. So they're obviously doing very well in general.
Thank you, Marta. So I'm the business administrator. I have the easiest job in town. I have the easiest job in town because, as you heard, around this table is the state's leading professionals in their disciplines. They make my job easier. My direct supervisor is the mayor. He hands down his edict, and then we handle the day-to-day operations for the town. These folks around the table have had a 30 or 40-year relationship, not only professionally, but personally. So there's a lot of respect here. There's a lot of inner working. Some of the things that we do, we have 1,300 employees on a day-to-day basis around the summertime because we have summer camps. We bulk up to about 1,700 employees because we have seasonal and part-time. So that's a massive workforce that these folks oversee on a day-to-day basis. My direct reports are the Division of Finance, which you heard from Michael. So we have a CFO, Manny Fernandez, Deputy CFO, Michael Klubchek, and Katie Mullen, who handle the finances, which is about a $210 million budget annually. So we handle that. Each department handles their own portion of that. Under that, we have purchasing, which we have state purchasing laws that we have to handle day to day, which are a little bit cumbersome, but we work through them because we have Jen Burns, who is an outstanding purchasing agent, and then we also have HR that reports directly. So those are the things that are day to day. Again, this all starts with the mayor. He put together this group of professionals. They're appointed by he, and this is the chemistry. for working together and how everything comes together in Woodbridge. We are looked at, because of his leadership in the state, as the leading community in the state. Other townships come to us and ask us how to do it right. And we relish that. We love that. And we're glad to help because we have the recipe and we're glad to share it. So thank you to Mayor McCormick.
And last thing I'll say is we like each other. We like working together. You don't read negative things about Woodbridge in the paper like you do other towns. We're functional. This group knows what they're doing. They're experienced. And they do their jobs incredibly well. And you just don't, if you read the News Tribune or you read the social media posts, you'll see other towns that have friction between mayors and council, friction between council members themselves, friction between the Board of Education and the town, friction all over, and problems all over. You don't see that in Woodbridge because of the people in this room. And we generally like working with each other. We disagree a lot. We solve problems a lot. You're shaking your head, man. Come on.
That's good. We need to move forward.
We need to move forward. So we're good. We love working with each other, and we love running this town. Now it's your turn. Want to start over in the end there? Anybody with any specific questions?
Regarding this, or should we are presenting our plans right now?
I'm sorry, can you?
Any questions?
Whatever you want.
Oh no.
Questions, comments? How about you?
I think I'm good. I think
Good?
everything's pretty clear. No. I'm good.
I'm good too.
You're all good. This is not going to work. Go ahead.
I hope this puts my results.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Can you vote yes?
Why don't you all run for council? Go ahead, anything?
Actually, I had a question about the sidewalks. Yeah, so in my plan I wrote about infrastructure. So I was actually wondering, you said you work on the sidewalks, right? You work on getting them, like getting rid of the cracks and stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, sidewalks are the responsibility of the property owner in general. So we don't replace sidewalks, we don't fix cracks, we don't do curbs. That's generally, we do streets, that's our responsibility. But when you get into curb, it's the homeowner's responsibility or the business owner's responsibility. In the case of Oak Tree Road, we are working with the county to do a whole replacement project of the sidewalks. It's not something that you will see often, because usually it's the responsibility of the business owner, but you're not going to get 20 business owners on one side of the street and 20 on the other side to ever agree to all do their sidewalks in a uniform way. So that's what makes it a town-wide project, a business district. But if your parents want to replace their sidewalks or fix a crack or fix a hole, they don't call the town. That's their responsibility. But Oak Tree Road is different because, like I said, it's a combined gigantic project. So if you have thoughts on that, we need people who are familiar with the culture to advise us. Like we wanted to do stamped concrete. We did it down at the place we own in Seawarren. Stamped concrete looks wonderful. You can do different colors, you can do different forms, you can do different shapes. It's really cool. And that's our concept for Oak Tree Road, but I don't know what colors to pick. I don't know what styles to pick. So we need the people from the community to tell us what we should be doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer now.
No. I mean, I'm not like I don't know much about concrete or like things that should be.
No, but there's things that will fit the culture of the people who own the stores and the people who are going to shop at the stores and buy the jewelry and the dresses and eat at the restaurants. We need people who are experienced in that. We wanted to attract people. So we have to have advisors like yourself or like family members that can tell us this is what will work in downtown Oak Tree Road.
I think on the sidewalks, if you want to infuse more culture into it, I know that if you painted like artwork or murals on the walkways, I think that would definitely be like something that people would definitely like.
Great idea.
That's an idea. That's an idea. We do that on buildings. We've never thought about doing it on sidewalks. All right, you're in charge. Yes. Here's the problem, with good ideas. You have a good idea, you're gonna get responsibility to implement it.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea, actually. That's a very good idea. How about you?
Just to add on, India is so diverse, you really can't summarize it on the sidewalk. There's so many colors, so many languages, so many regions, but definitely asking the businesses that are there, their owners, people who visit there regularly, who are always there, would be a good idea to see what they like and what they think should be best, because I'm always there, but obviously I don't own a business there. But asking, because it's going to be right there, they're going to be the ones walking that sidewalk every day. So I think that would be the best idea, to probably ask them, like she said, adding murals, a lot of colorful stuff, florals, all this would definitely enhance the culture.
We have a business district, and the members on the board of that business district are the shop owners.
Right.
So the guy that owns the apparel shop up the street toward Marconi, the woman that used to own Close 12, now it's going to be Joy DeLuca,
Right.
she's on the board. The guy that owns the business where Malabar is, which is like the biggest jewelry store in India, the guy that owns that building, he's on the board. So we have a lot of people that are downtown. You're right, you're absolutely right. But with a project like this, we want to add more. We want to get everybody's thoughts.
Yeah, so I had a question. Like, when you appoint the department heads, like, do they got to get approved?
Generally, I can't do a whole lot on my own without the council approving it. We want to pass a budget, we prepare it, they have to approve it. We want to pay a bill, we let them know what we're paying, they approve it. If I want to make Vito the business administrator, we've got to prepare a resolution and the council has to approve it, right? Yes. Everything, pretty much anybody at this table that I wanted to appoint has to be approved by the town council. It's called a strong mayor form of government because there's a lot of things they can do. Once they pass the budget, they're kind of out of it, and we can spend the money generally how we want as long as they approve the actual bill. But it's a good check and balance. The mayor's not too powerful, the council's not too powerful. It's very evenly split. I can't do anything I want. I can do a lot of what I want, but I can't do everything I want without them telling me I can do it. So that's the answer. Yes, I can appoint Carol, appoint John, appoint Casey, but they have to say, okay.
I wanted to build off of what Chaitanya said about the street art on the pavements. There's a type of Indian cultural art, I think it's named Rangoli, and it's based on floral designs, and I think that if there was a way to mimic that art onto the sidewalks, that would be a really great idea. It's spelled R-A-N-G-O-L-I.
Rascoli.
Rangoli.
That's interesting.
Look into it, thank you.
Is that specific to a region, or is that?
I'm not sure about that. I just know that during wedding seasons in my own family, we tend to kind of draw it on the floor with whatever chalk that we have. So I feel like if there was a way to make it more permanent onto concrete, it would be really pretty. It's like floral design. It's really nice.
Very interesting. It sounds like we have a committee of art experts. We'll probably do some kind of outreach to the community when we decide. We might come up with a plan and then present it and ask for opinions. Or we might have everybody show up and tell us what you think, meaning we don't know yet. But that's, all three of you had very good thoughts.
Yeah, we got your names now.
I hate to plummet your idea, but I've heard that if you put that on the concrete, isn't it disrespectful to then walk on it?
I'm not sure. I just, the way that the country I'm from does it, we kind of do it as like a wedding tradition where whoever's getting married in their house, we kind of just draw it with a type of chalk on the floor and it just fades over time, like the passage of time.
Right, so Mandeep and I have actually done that at Woodbridge High School. We've drawn them before, but I've heard it's kind of disrespectful to walk on them, so I'm not sure how that would be on the concrete. Maybe that's something for the walls.
This is why we need help. Because if you guys don't know it, how the heck are we going to know?
Yeah, so
you're not allowed to
we
step
do
on
them
it.
every year during Indian Heritage Month. We draw them around Woodbridge High School, but I don't think it's really, I'm not sure if we're supposed to be stepping on those. I don't know if people would walk on those. That might be something to consider.
All right, we can put them on walls, or we can do something else on
Yeah.
the sidewalks. Yeah, all right. Do a picture right here. So Brianna Trunnery's not here. Sifa Ansari, Woodbridge High School. Oh, right. Congratulations. Isabel Taveras, Colonia High.
Turn this way, please.
Oh, we're going to do individual pictures. All right. Let's get this out of the way. All right. All right. Please go with Tavares. Nanaki Gill, JFK. Next up, Leilani Wiggins. Well, she's not here. Mandeep Kaur, Woodbridge. Next up, Yusuf Kazi, Colonial. Here's. Anything else? Oh, that's right. Okay, I can do that. Thanks. Vishnu Khatri next. Go. Kathleen Kaur next. Chaitanya Krishna next. On next. Wait right back. Wait right back. Keisha Bhagat next.